Welcome to Steam Deck Mania, where we bring you the best deals on Steam games and game reviews. Clarence here, and in this video, we'll be showcasing some of the best deals you can find on the Steam platform that are compatible with the new Steam Deck. From exciting AAA titles to indie gems, there's something for every kind of gamer in this list. From action-packed shooters to thrilling adventures and everything in between, there's something for everyone in this list. The Steam Deck is an amazing piece of hardware that allows you to take your favorite games with you wherever you go. And with these amazing discounts, you can save big on some of the hottest titles in gaming. So whether you're looking for a new adventure, a challenging puzzle game, or a thrilling shooter, be sure to check out these 30 amazing discounts on Steam. You won't be disappointed. But before we get started, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on any of our future videos. Now, let's dive into these amazing deals and see what games you can add to your Steam Deck library without breaking the bank. First on the list is Blast Off. Blast Off is a fun and addictive puzzle game on Steam Deck that challenges players to guide a spaceship through a variety of levels filled with obstacles and hazards. The game's graphics are colorful and eye-catching, with a retro-inspired aesthetic that adds to the overall charm of the game. The gameplay is simple but challenging, with players using their wits and reflexes to navigate the spaceship through each level. Players must avoid obstacles and collect power-ups to progress through the game, with each level becoming more difficult than the last. The game features a variety of modes, including a campaign mode and a level editor that allows players to create and share their own levels. The game's leaderboard system also adds a competitive edge, encouraging players to try and beat each other's high scores. Overall, Blast Off is a fun and engaging puzzle game on Steam Deck. Its retro-inspired graphics, challenging gameplay, and variety of modes make it an enjoyable experience for any player who loves puzzle games. Next is Streets of Fury X. Streets of Fury X is a beat-em-up game on Steam Deck that lets players choose from a variety of characters, each with their own unique fighting style, to battle through the streets of Paris. The game's graphics are detailed and impressive, with a vibrant soundtrack and satisfying sound effects adding to the experience. The gameplay is fast-paced and challenging, with a variety of combos and special moves to master. The game also has a co-opus mode, allowing players to team up with a friend and take on the game's challenges together. Streets of Fury X has a campaign mode with various levels and bosses to defeat, and a survival mode where players battle waves of enemies. The game's replayability is enhanced by its leaderboard system, which encourages players to beat each other's high scores. Overall, Streets of Fury X is an enjoyable beat-em-up game on Steam Deck, with impressive graphics, challenging gameplay, and co-opus mode that make it a fun experience for any player who loves action games. Next up, S.T.A.L.K.E.R Call of Pripyat. S.T.A.L.K.E.R Call of Pripyat is a first-person shooter game on Steam Deck that takes place in the Chernobyl exclusion zone. The game's impressive graphics create a desolate atmosphere in which players face off against mutants and hostile factions as they scavenge for resources and manage their equipment to survive. The Faction Wars system allows players to align with different factions and engage in battles for control of territory, adding a strategic element and replayability. The game also offers a variety of missions and side quests with multiple paths and outcomes, adding depth to the overall experience. The engaging story and well-written script make S.T.A.L.K.E.R Call of Pripyat a must-play for fans of the genre. However, the game's intense and challenging gameplay may not appeal to everyone. Overall, S.T.A.L.K.E.R Call of Pripyat is a captivating first-person shooter game on Steam Deck with impressive graphics, Faction Wars system, and challenging gameplay that make it worth trying for anyone interested in post-apocalyptic settings and survival elements. Baldur's Gate 2 Enhanced Edition. Baldur's Gate 2 Enhanced Edition is an RPG game on Steam Deck that takes place in the Forgotten Realms campaign setting. The game features a vast and immersive world filled with engaging characters, intricate storylines, and challenging gameplay. Players control a party of characters and explore a rich and detailed world, interacting with various factions, engaging in battles, and completing quests. The game's combat system is turn-based and tactical, requiring players to carefully strategize and manage their party's resources to succeed. The Enhanced Edition includes new content and features, such as improved graphics, new characters and quests, and a redesigned multiplayer mode. The game's immersive and captivating story is also enhanced by voice acting and a rich soundtrack. Overall, Baldur's Gate 2 Enhanced Edition is a must-play for fans of RPG games on Steam Deck, offering a rich and engaging world, challenging gameplay, and an immersive story that will keep players hooked for hours on end. Next is Cosmic Star Heroine. Cosmic Star Heroine is a captivating sci-fi RPG game on Steam Deck. Players control Alyssa, a secret agent on a mission to uncover a galaxy-threatening conspiracy. The game features engaging turn-based combat that requires players to manage their resources and choose the right abilities to use in each battle. The unique ability system allows players to use each ability a limited number of times before needing to rest, encouraging them to think strategically. The game's retro-inspired graphics and soundtrack give it a nostalgic feel, while its engaging story and characters make it feel fresh and modern. Players can choose from multiple difficulty levels, allowing them to tailor the experience to their preferences. Overall, Cosmic Star Heroine is a charming and engaging RPG game on Steam Deck that is well worth playing for fans of the genre. Its captivating story, unique ability system, and engaging combat make it a standout title in the RPG genre. Next up, Cthulhu Saves the World. Cthulhu Saves the World is a classic-style RPG game on Steam Deck that puts players in control of the infamous Cthulhu, who awakens with no powers and a desire to regain his status as an eldritch god. The game features a humorous story that parodies classic RPG tropes and a unique battle system that rewards players for taking risks in combat. The turn-based combat system is where the game really shines, with a unique overkill mechanic that encourages players to use their strongest attacks to deal massive damage. Players can also use Cthulhu's insanity ability to temporarily increase their power, but at the risk of losing control and attacking their own party members. The game's retro-inspired graphics and soundtrack give it a nostalgic feel, while its humor and unique battle system make it feel fresh and modern. Overall, Cthulhu Saves the World is a charming and entertaining RPG game on Steam Deck that is well worth playing for fans of the genre. Its humorous story, unique battle system, and engaging gameplay make it a standout title in the RPG genre. The Dream Machine, Chapter 1 and 2. The Dream Machine, Chapter 1 and 2 is a point-and-click adventure game on Steam Deck that features handcrafted environments made entirely out of clay and cardboard. Players take on the role of Victor, who moves into a new apartment with his wife and discovers a strange machine in the basement that allows him to enter the dreams of others. The game's handcrafted visuals give it a unique and charming feel, while its puzzles and story keep players engaged throughout. The dream sequences in particular are visually stunning, with each dream world being a unique and surreal experience. The game's point-and-click interface is easy to use, allowing players to explore their environment and interact with objects and characters to solve puzzles and progress through the story. The game also features an inventory system, allowing players to collect and use items to solve puzzles. Overall, The Dream Machine, Chapter 1 and 2 is a captivating and visually stunning adventure game on Steam Deck that is well worth playing for fans of the genre. Its unique visuals, engaging story, and challenging puzzles make it a standout title in the adventure genre. Next is Breath of Death 7. Breath of Death 7 is a retro-style RPG on Steam Deck that parodies classic RPGs while providing a fun and engaging experience for players. Players control a party of undead heroes in a post-apocalyptic world, and must save the world from destruction. The game's turn-based combat system is similar to classic RPGs, with players selecting actions for each party member and attacking enemies to earn experience and level up their characters. The game also features a unique combo system, where players can chain together attacks for increased damage. Breath of Death 7's retro-inspired graphics and soundtrack give it a nostalgic feel, while its humor and unique take on the RPG genre make it feel fresh and modern. The game also features multiple difficulty levels and an optional fast mode for players who want to speed up battles and progress through the story more quickly. Overall, Breath of Death 7 is a charming and entertaining RPG on Steam Deck that is well worth playing for fans of the genre. Its humor, unique battle system, and engaging gameplay make it a standout title. Next up, Super Trench Attack. Super Trench Attack is a retro-style, 2D shooter on Steam Deck set in an alternate World War I era. Players control a soldier armed with various weapons and special abilities as they fight against enemy forces and bosses across a variety of levels. The game features a fun and quirky art style, with cartoonish characters and environments that add to the game's charm. The gameplay is fast-paced and challenging, with players having to navigate through obstacles, dodge enemy attacks, and make strategic use of their weapons and abilities to survive. Super Trench Attack also features a local co-opus mode, allowing players to team up with a friend to take on the game's challenges together. The game's soundtrack is also noteworthy, with catchy tunes that fit the game's retro theme perfectly. Overall, Super Trench Attack is a great choice for fans of retro-style, 2D shooters on Steam Deck. Its fun art style, challenging gameplay, and co-opus mode make it a standout title that is well worth checking out. Next on the list is Portal 2. Portal 2 is a critically acclaimed first-person puzzle game on Steam Deck developed and published by Valve Corporation. The game takes place in the Aperture Science Laboratories, where players control a silent protagonist named Chell who must navigate through a series of increasingly complex test chambers with the help of a sentient computer AI named GLaDOS. The gameplay of Portal 2 revolves around the use of a portal gun, which allows players to create portals that connect two different locations within a test chamber. The game's puzzles require players to use their spatial reasoning skills to manipulate objects and navigate through obstacles in order to reach the exit of each chamber. Portal 2 also features a single-player campaign with an engaging story that expands on the game's universe and characters, as well as a cooperative multiplayer mode where two players must work together to solve puzzles using their own set of portal guns. Overall, Portal 2 is an exceptional game on Steam Deck that combines inventive gameplay mechanics, clever puzzles, and a memorable cast of characters to create an unforgettable experience. Next is Portal. Portal is an innovative puzzle game that introduces players to the concept of a portal gun. By shooting a portal entrance and exit, players can walk through one and emerge from the other, opening up endless possibilities for solving puzzles. The game has a dark and witty sense of humor that sets it apart from other puzzle games. The game's design is clever, quirky, and polished, making it challenging to play. The tutorial levels can feel tedious and slow down the pacing of the game, and the game is relatively short. However, the story is entertaining, and there are hints that link it to the Half-Life universe. The computerized voice that guides players throughout the game is what gives it its personality. The sound design is excellent, and the thump of the portal gun is satisfying to hear. Players can unlock new challenge levels after completing the game, which offer even more challenging puzzles to solve. The same 6 challenges also come in advanced mode, which means they have been reworked to be more difficult. Despite its flaws, Portal is a must-play game for anyone looking for a unique and satisfying puzzle game with a dark and witty sense of humor. Next up, Geneforge 1. Geneforge 1 is a classic role-playing game developed and published by Spiderweb Software for Steam Deck. The game takes place in the world of Thymesia, where players control a character who can shape and create creatures called shapers. The gameplay of Geneforge 1 revolves around exploration, combat, and decision-making. Players can create their own customized character and choose to ally themselves with different factions, which will affect the course of the story and the interactions they have with other characters. One of the game's unique features is its open-ended approach to combat, where players can use a variety of tactics and strategies to defeat enemies. The game also features a deep and complex story that is driven by player choice and consequence. Geneforge 1 has received high praise for its immersive world building, intricate storyline, and engaging gameplay. The game's open-ended approach to combat and decision-making allows players to have a truly unique experience every time they play. In summary, Geneforge 1 is a must-play for any fan of classic RPGs on Steam Deck, with its innovative gameplay mechanics, compelling story, and immersive world building. Next on the list is Shadowgate. Shadowgate is a point-and-click adventure game developed by Zojoi and published for Steam Deck. The game is a remake of the classic 1987 game of the same name, which was known for its challenging puzzles and atmospheric setting. In Shadowgate, players take on the role of a hero who must navigate a dangerous castle filled with traps and puzzles in order to defeat the evil warlock lord who dwells within. The game features a vast array of puzzles, ranging from simple logic puzzles to complex machinery puzzles that require careful observation and manipulation of objects in the environment. One of the game's strengths is its haunting atmosphere, which is enhanced by the detailed hand-drawn graphics and moody soundtrack. The game also includes multiple difficulty levels, allowing players to choose a level of challenge that suits their skill level. Overall, Shadowgate is a well-crafted remake of a classic adventure game that is sure to appeal to fans of the original and newcomers alike. Its challenging puzzles, atmospheric setting, and engaging gameplay make it a must-play for anyone looking for a satisfying adventure game on Steam Deck. Next up, Mage and Monsters. Mage and Monsters is an engaging and addictive mobile game with an interesting combination of elements from RPGs and strategy games. You play as a mage, who must explore the world, defeat monsters, and collect magical items to become more powerful. The gameplay is straightforward. You move your character across the grid-based map, engage in battles with various creatures, and level up to gain new spells and abilities. The graphics are simple but charming, and the game's soundtrack is catchy and enjoyable. The controls are intuitive, and the game is easy to pick up, making it perfect for short play sessions. One of the best things about Mage and Monsters is the ability to customize your character's abilities and spells. You can choose which spells and abilities to learn, allowing you to tailor your character's playstyle to your preferences. Additionally, the game's randomized dungeon levels keep things fresh and exciting each time you play. Overall, Mage and Monsters is a fantastic game for anyone looking for a fun and engaging mobile RPG experience. Next on the list is LEGO Bricktales. LEGO Bricktales is a charming and delightful game that brings to life classic stories with LEGO bricks. In this game, you get to experience stories like Little Red Riding Hood, Jack and the Beanstalk, and Cinderella, all reimagined with LEGO bricks. The gameplay is simple and fun. You move your character through different levels, solving puzzles and collecting LEGO bricks along the way. As you progress, you unlock new characters and stories to play through. The game also includes a level editor, so you can create and share your own LEGO Bricktales. The graphics and sound design of LEGO Bricktales are top-notch, capturing the essence of classic fairy tales with a playful LEGO twist. The game is suitable for all ages, with its simple yet challenging gameplay and colorful visuals. Overall, LEGO Bricktales is a fun and entertaining game that will appeal to fans of LEGO bricks and classic fairy tales alike. It's a great way to spend an afternoon or evening, exploring a world made of LEGO bricks and creating your own stories. Mysteries Under Lake Ophelia. Mysteries Under Lake Ophelia is a fishing game with chunky PSX graphics and a mystery horror twist that immerses players in a serene yet unsettling atmosphere. As players cast their lure and catch fish for profit, They can upgrade their equipment and complete their fish encyclopedia, with rare and enigmatic fish lurking in the deep. A cigar-smoking purveyor appears to sell lures and tackle, buying players' catches at a premium price and revealing his suspicions surrounding Lake Ophelia as the game progresses. Players explore the depths of the lake, developing strategies to reel in the perfect fish and investigating casting techniques to lure in coveted brilliantly colored flower horn. The game's atmosphere, rendered through natural sounds and music, invites players to sit still and just listen to the gentle bubbling and birds above, submerging them in a peaceful yet mysterious environment. The thought-provoking twist ending adds a satisfying conclusion to the experience, making Mysteries Under Lake Ophelia a must-play for fans of fishing minigames and horror alike. Next is Swordship. Swordship is a thrilling action game that takes place in a post-apocalyptic world where players control a ship, dodge obstacles, and deliver containers through a portal. The game's graphics are smooth and polished, and its techno soundtrack creates an immersive atmosphere. Players must trick enemies into killing each other, as there are no guns in the game. Ship upgrades and extra lives are rewarded, and a newer, more advanced craft can be unlocked as players progress. Each city introduces new enemy types with different behaviors and weather conditions, making the game more challenging and complex. Although there is only one difficulty setting and no continues, the game's evolving and increasingly intense nature appeals to score hunters. While the lack of a D-pad control option may be a minor drawback for some players, the game's clever and original concept, combined with the satisfaction of pulling off successful combos and tricks, makes Swordship an impressive game that is visually stunning and sounds great. Its fast-paced action and strategic elements make it worth trying, even for those who are not typically fans of the genre. Swordship earns an action badge of honor and provides hours of fun for players. Next is A.S.T.L.I.B.R. Revision. A.S.T.L.I.B.R. Revision is a 2D side-scrolling action RPG developed by indie game developer Cthulhu over a decade. The game is available on Steam with improved sprites, a reworked game engine to support widescreen formats, and a new post-game chapter. The story of A.S.T.L.I.B.R. begins with the nameless protagonist searching for his childhood friend, who went missing during a demon attack, and is accompanied by a talking crow named Karen. The game follows an episodic structure where the protagonist goes through missions in search of clues related to his friend's whereabouts. A.S.T.L.I.B.R. benefits from decades of game design history and features fluid combat, stat management, and modern ideas. The game has clearly been influenced by other series like Castlevania and Zelda. The combat system starts simple and then progresses as the protagonist learns new abilities from the equipment he collects. Killing enemies will drop force crystals, allowing you to access upgrades in the grow system. The combat may feel awkward and dated at first, but the game grows on you as many of the mechanics link together in interesting ways. Crimzon Clover World E-Explosion. Crimzon Clover World E-Explosion is a fast-paced, bullet hell shooter game developed by Japanese indie developer tERRORbane. The game features colorful graphics, a pumping soundtrack, and intense gameplay that will keep players on the edge of their seat. Players can choose from a variety of different fighter planes, each with their own unique abilities and playstyles. They must then navigate through levels filled with waves of enemies and tons of bullets flying in every direction. The game also features several different game modes, including a score attack mode and a boss rush mode. One of the standout features of Crimzon Clover World E-Explosion is its attention to detail. Every bullet, enemy, and explosion is beautifully crafted, making each playthrough a visual spectacle. The gameplay is also finely tuned, with responsive controls and a high level of challenge that will appeal to both casual and hardcore players alike. Overall, Crimzon Clover World E-Explosion is a fantastic bullet hell shooter that is a must-play for fans of the genre. Next is FixFox. FixFox is a top-down adventure game about a little furry protagonist named Vix. Vix is a mechanic and a fox who lives in a future where humans have genes spliced themselves to become talking animals with opposable thumbs. The game is a part crafting and item collecting, part puzzle, and part story about family and identity. The machines that you fix are pleasingly silly in their workings, with mechanical tongues that need to taste a certain flavor or a cold matrix where you have to make sure the lights saying salad and popsicle are switched on, or a circuit that needs to be closed by an avocado. The story is about forming an unlikely ragtag band of several different AI pals and learning about family, friendship, and kindness while building extremely large mech animals. The visuals are great, especially when dealing with information, technology, or AI. However, the story requires repetitive backtracking and feels superfluous to play through. FixFox is an excellent game with a unique world and lo-fi, analog version of the future. Next up is tERRORbane. tERRORbane is a parody RPG game developed by Bit9 Studio and published by Whisper Games. The game attempts to poke fun at RPG genre stereotypes, but the humor falls flat. The story follows tERRORbane, a hero on a mission to stop bugs from ruining the game, which is a commentary on the gaming industry. The game's developer serves as the only voiced character and is crucial to the story. The game's battle system involves fixing errors in the game code to defeat enemies. While battles can be turn-based, some involve action or a card game. However, the gimmick of exploiting errors in the game to complete battles wears out quickly, and there isn't much satisfaction in breaking the game. The visuals are reminiscent of Game Boy Advance RPGs, and the soundtrack is forgettable. The focus on finding bugs leaves little room for impressive visuals or sound. The writing lacks sharpness and cleverness, and while there are some entertaining moments, the bad ones come often enough to make the game fall flat. Overall, tERRORbane's unique approach to parody is not executed well enough to make it an enjoyable experience, especially for those looking for more than flat parody. Between Time, Escape Room. Between Time, Escape Room is a puzzle game developed and published by Delve Interactive. The game takes place in an abandoned laboratory where the player must solve puzzles and uncover the truth behind a mysterious experiment. Players must explore the laboratory and use items they find to solve puzzles and progress through the game. The game has a time-traveling mechanic, where the player can move between different time periods to discover clues and solve puzzles. The game has a haunting atmosphere, with eerie music and sound effects adding to the sense of unease. The puzzles are challenging but rewarding to solve, and the story has a compelling narrative that keeps players engaged until the end. Between Time, Escape Room is a great choice for fans of puzzle games looking for a unique and challenging experience. The game has received positive reviews for its engaging puzzles, eerie atmosphere, and intriguing storyline. Tested on Humans, Escape Room. Tested on Humans, Escape Room is a puzzle game developed by Advertwo Play. The game takes place in a science facility where players are tasked with solving puzzles and riddles to escape the facility. The game features a unique art style and a variety of puzzles that challenge players to think outside the box. The game is played from a first-person perspective and players navigate through the facility by clicking on various objects to interact with them. Players must gather clues and solve puzzles to progress through the game. The puzzles range from simple logic puzzles to more complex riddles that require players to think creatively. Tested on Humans, Escape Room features multiple endings depending on the choices players make throughout the game. The game also features a hint system that provides players with clues when they are stuck on a particular puzzle. Overall, Tested on Humans, Escape Room is a challenging and entertaining puzzle game that will keep players engaged from start to finish. Next up, Room to Grow. Room to Grow is a challenging puzzle game with simple mechanics that gradually become more complex as you progress through the levels. You use your cactus to plant all the other cacti on a grid using arrow keys, but the challenge lies in using your cactus's body to indirectly push the other cacti into their proper locations. The puzzles are diverse, featuring areas without grids, trenches, and grids with angled levels. The game is forgiving, allowing you to skip any level you want at any time, but completing a level is incredibly satisfying. The game's puzzles are cleverly designed, and there's always more than one solution to each puzzle. However, the game does not offer a hint system, which can be a downside for some players. Overall, Room to Grow is an excellent puzzle game that will keep you entertained for hours. The game's simple mechanics, diverse levels, and challenging puzzles make it an enjoyable game for puzzle fans. Next is The Legend of Tianding. The Legend of Tianding is a narrative platformer that takes place in colonial Taiwan in 1909. You play as Liao Tianding, a legendary Robin Hood figure who steals from the police to give back to the poor. The game does an excellent job of conveying the oppressive nature of the setting, with ordinary Taiwanese citizens toiling endlessly to enrich their colonizers. Tianding is a likable protagonist, outsmarting his cartoonishly evil pursuers with devious ploys and genuinely caring about bettering his people's lives. The combat in the game involves stealing weapons from enemies and using them to fight back. The game makes use of platforming hazards to add challenge to fights. Enemies can knock you into these hazards as easily as you can do the same to them. The game also conveys Tianding's popularity as a folk hero through gameplay, with players using their stolen money to buy upgrades and giving alms to NPCs who beg in the street. The Legend of Tianding is a tightly designed platformer that strikes the perfect balance between street brawler, platformer, and visual novel. While the combat is engaging, the game's randomization of weapon upgrades lessens the direct benefit that players gain from helping out the needy. Overall, it's an excellent game that accomplishes all of its aesthetic and storytelling goals without overstaying its welcome. Next up is Postal, Brain Damaged. Postal, Brain Damaged is a video game developed by Running with Scissors and is part of the Postal series. It is a first-person shooter game where the player controls a character named Postal Dude who goes on a killing spree in a town called Catharsis. The game features over-the-top violence, crude humor, and satire. In Postal, Brain Damage, the Postal Dude wakes up from a coma to find himself in a mental institution, where he must fight his way through the staff and patients to escape. The game has been criticized for its extreme violence and offensive content, but also praised for its dark humor and satirical take on mental illness. The game features a single-player campaign as well as various multiplayer modes, including Deathmatch, Capture the Flag, and Survival. It also includes a level editor that allows players to create and share their own levels. Postal, Brain Damaged is not recommended for children or those who are easily offended by violent and offensive content. Next is Grapple Dog. Grapple Dog is a 2D action platformer game developed by Next Gen Pants that was released in 2021. The game follows the story of a dog named Tobar, who has been genetically enhanced with grappling abilities, and his journey to save his owner and stop a nefarious organization from taking over the world. In Grapple Dog, Players control Tobar as he navigates through levels by swinging and jumping using his grapple abilities. The game features a variety of enemies, hazards, and obstacles that players must overcome in order to progress. Along the way, Tobar can collect coins and other items that can be used to upgrade his abilities and weapons. The game also features a variety of boss battles that test the player's skills and abilities. The bosses are challenging and require different strategies to defeat, making the game engaging and rewarding. Overall, Grapple Dog is a fun and challenging platformer with a unique twist. Its charming graphics, catchy soundtrack, and solid gameplay make it a great addition to any gamer's library. Next on the list is Thymesia. Thymesia is a third-person fantasy RPG that takes players to a plague-torn kingdom where they play as Corvus, a royal operative whose memories are scrambled after his involvement in the plague's spread. The game's combat system is one of its strongest features, rewarding strategic thinking and patience. However, Thymesia falls short in terms of its story, which fails to captivate players and is easily forgettable. The game's environments are also unoriginal, with the exception of the visually stunning Royal Garden. Thymesia offers multiple endings, but the lack of variety in outcomes may leave players feeling underwhelmed. The repetitive final boss fight may also diminish the game's lasting appeal. While Thymesia's progression systems and combat mechanics offer some replay value, its shortcomings in story and environment may leave players wanting more. Overall, Thymesia is a mixed bag that may appeal to players looking for engaging combat mechanics and a visually impressive environment, but may fall short in terms of its narrative and variety of outcomes. Next is Beasts of Maravilla Island. Beasts of Maravilla Island, developed by Banana Bird Studios, is an adventure game where players assume the role of a wildlife photographer exploring and documenting the magical creatures of Maravilla Island. The game's lush environments are full of vibrant colors, and the creatures are beautifully designed with unique behaviors and personalities. The gameplay primarily focuses on photography and exploration, where players must capture images of the island's creatures in various poses to solve puzzles and unlock new areas. While the gameplay may not be complex, the charming world and endearing creatures make it a delightful experience for players of all ages. Beasts of Maravilla Island's stunning visuals are its standout feature, creating an immersive and enchanting world for players to explore. With a relaxed pace and low-stress gameplay, this game is an excellent choice for those looking for a peaceful and visually stunning adventure. And last but not the least, Severed Steel. Severed Steel, a first-person shooter from Greylock Studio, puts players in the cybernetically enhanced boots of steel. With guns and melee weapons, players must fight their way through levels filled with enemies. The game's movement mechanics are a standout feature, allowing players to dash and slide through levels, creating dynamic combat encounters. The graphics feature a neon-colored cyberpunk aesthetic, and the soundtrack is an energetic electronic score. Although the story is minimal, the gameplay and mechanics make up for it. The game emphasizes player choice, offering different paths through levels and various playstyles. Severed Steel provides a high level of challenge, requiring precision and quick reflexes. The game's difficulty modes and level editor offer replayability. Overall, Severed Steel is a thrilling and action-packed shooter that offers a unique and satisfying gameplay experience. Fans of fast-paced shooters should give it a try. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more gaming content. And if you've already taken advantage of these amazing Steam Deck discounts, let us know in the comments below which games you're most excited to play. Stay tuned for more great deals and gaming content from our channel. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.